Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, class. Basically, we are in the fine material sphere consciousness. Never mind, Joey. You just take a look. Okay. To the screen we do. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Let's take a look. Okay, class. Basically, we are still in the chapter 1. Let's take a look. We are still in the chapter 1. So in chapter 1, actually, we have a diagram. For example, okay, let's take a look to the chapter 1, the diagram. From the diagram, actually, we know that we already finished 1.1, the 89 and 121 chitta at a glance. I think you don't remember lah, just know so many numbering. Just know so many number only. But basically, 89 and 121 chitta meaning to say includes all, I mean the sense sphere, okay, and then the sense sphere, and then our rupa sphere, and material sphere and immaterial sphere. So basically, today we are actually in the material sphere. We talk about the jhana, fine material sphere. But before that, if you remember, you see, okay, we also go through the unwholesome chitta. So we know they are totally 12 unwholesome chitta. Then we go to the rootless chitta. Remember that in rootless chitta, I always mention that rootless chitta actually is the chitta. They are just, how to say, they play a minor role in our mind connective process. Okay, but because if you come to the Buddhism class as a beginner, we won't talk about the rootless. Rootless chitta. But here we have to let you know the whole things already, because they are also partial of the vipassana. And then sense sphere, beautiful chitta, we have gone through. If you remember that sense sphere meaning to say is the world we are living, and basically we will appear like a consciousness, a beautiful chitta. So in the previous lesson, I put some example. Let's take a look. So in the previous chapter, we talk about all the eight consciousness, the beautiful chitta. The beautiful chitta basically include in what? Meaning to say, when you try to do the meditation, you do the giving, okay, then you are helping to the temple, and include dine in today. I think it's supposed to be the kusala, beautiful chitta, right? You come in a happy mind, right? So it's also one of the conscious, it's a beautiful chitta. Well, basically, if let's say this gathering, we all very happy. If the last moment you die, you remember nothing, but just remember Sally's cheesecake. So it could be, it could be akusala already. Yeah, her cheesecake is ready for everybody. Well, anyway, but if let's say we don't get, we detach to it, it wouldn't create a very strong karma. Maybe the gathering will be. But of course, we hope that your last moment, you should recall. The consciousness with a better quality. For example, the jhana. Okay. And maybe recall the dharma. Once you attend the class, that's the best. Okay. Then we come here is the fine material sphere. Okay, remember, I asked you all to try to check the differences between each of them, right? So maybe I let Tiong get. Can you please read first jhana resultant together? This 5. Can you please read through all this?
First jhana resultant consciousness together with initial application, sustained application, zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. Second jhana resultant consciousness together with sustained application, zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. Third jhana resultant consciousness together with zest, happiness, and one-pointedness. Fourth jhana resultant consciousness together with happiness and one-pointedness. Fifth jhana resultant consciousness together with equanimity and one-pointedness. These are 5 types of fine material sphere resultant.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, each jhana is different. They're going to drop one of the jhana factors until to the fifth jhana, just the equanimity and the one-pointedness remain. Remember, this is quite crucial. If let's say you do the meditation, you have to know all this, because you will be requested to drop the jhana factor one by one to attain to the fifth jhana. And basically, the fifth jhana is the best jhana in order to do the vipassana. According to the Nikaya, basically fifth jhana or in Nikaya we call it as a four jhana. We call it as a sama samadhi in the eight noble path. The definition for the sama samadhi, the right samadhi, is the fourth jhana. So please try to struggle for that. But for those who chanting the Buddha name, you chant Amitofo or Yao Si Jing you hope to go there, or including the Maitreya Buddha, basically if you reach, even though first jhana, actually you are more than enough, to do the nianfo. Because the requirement for the nianfo to the pure land just like a diploma level only. But if you attain to the jhana, actually you are degree level. So it will be easier for you. So I hope of course, I encourage you all aiming for the degree. Then you do the diploma, very simple already. Okay? And you all have the potential to reach that, the way I see you all. Okay? Except you give up or lazy. All right? Or I think you all can reach that. Okay, let's take a look at so we finish here. We continue here. Then we talk about the resultant. Let's take a look. See, here got result. The resultant meaning to say that once the consciousness, you see, here we call it as a wholesome consciousness. When the wholesome consciousness ripen, when you pass away, it will turn out become the resultant. Meaning to say that once you pass away, you become the Deva. You will be reborn, become the Deva. So for your whole lifetime, you will become, for example, you attain to the fifth jhana and you pass away. Then you are from the consciousness, fifth jhana, wholesome consciousness, reborn, become the beings in the fifth jhana, as a resultant consciousness for a whole life. Resultant means the vipaka. And then the functional consciousness are specifically located for Buddha and Arahant, because this is their final life. They won't create any karma. So we call it as a functional consciousness. Basically, functional consciousness, they are neither karma nor resultant. You see, the explanation seems to explain nothing, right? But you just remember, actually, it makes sense. So remember, the definition of functional is neither karma nor resultant. So this is the definition of the function. Just a function only. Okay, let's continue with this part. So Junta, can you please read the passage? Five material sphere consciousness, please. On the mic, please, Junta.
Five material sphere consciousness, Rupa Vachara Chittani. This sphere of consciousness includes all the chittas which move about in or pertain to the fine material plane of existence, Nibbana Bhumi. The realm in which gross matter is absent and only a subtle residue of matter remains. Rebirth into this realm is achieved by the attainment of the meditative state called jhanas, high attainments in the development of concentration samadhi. The state of consciousness which frequent this plane, in that they are qualitatively connected to it, are called fine material sphere consciousness. 15 chittas falls into this category: 5 wholesome, 5 resultants, and 5 functional. The wholesome fine material sphere chittas are experienced by whirlings and trainees. Second, who develop the jhana within the life itself. Their corresponding results, vipaka, arise only in the fine material world. In the beings who have been reborn, there as a consequence of developing the jhana, the five functional kriya, jhana, citta are experienced only by arahants who attain the jhana.
Yeah, okay, never mind, we stop here. Huh? Let's try to digest.
Okay.
Okay, let's try to explain this. Okay, class, basically, if let's say we were born in the five material sphere, according to the Abhidhamma, you see, the gross matter is absent. Meaning to say that actually in the jhana realm, you don't see any body. According to the Abhidhamma, they don't have body. They will turn out become just a light only. But they got eye, they got ear. But they have the eye and the ear, which is without, they can see, they can hear. They got nose and tongue, but nose and tongue is without any nerve system. Why? Because in the first jhana onwards, they don't need don't need to take any food, so they wouldn't enjoy any food. This is their vipaka. So how do they sustain? Just through the meditation. We call it as a 禅悦为食, so they just through there. So we call it, even though we call them as a fine material sphere, but basically meaning to say they got the material, but they don't have the gross one. They just have the fine one. We call it as a fine material sphere. So this is number one. Then you see subtle residue of the matter remain. Basically, according to the sutra, the deva who come down in the midnight to asking the dharma from the Shakyamuni, probably they come from this realm, or maybe they are in they are the sensuous deva. We don't know which one. It is not clearly stated, but we know that the most the most they can come is the first jhana only. After first jhana, they won't come here. They don't come contact with earth. Let's say you go to some place, they have they play the trance, so they may invite some deva come now. Basically, if they are able to invite, it's the sensual realm deva who can do sensual realm deva. But mostly, what they invite, maybe just some actually is the great merit goals. Basically, if you're able to invite, which from the first jhana, wow, that will be very wonderful. very rare, we are able to invite them. But for the, how to say, we call it as a Ta Fan Tian, the Fan Tian Brahma, the Maha Brahma, the King Maha Brahma, they will come down. According to the sutra, after Buddha Parinibbana, so the Brahma come down and ask Shakyamuni to continue propagate the Dharma. But Shakyamuni refused in the very beginning. But later on, the reason is because he think maybe not many people can understand, so he refused. But later on, he said, okay. So according to the sutra, basically, every day Shakyamuni will meditate and try to use the psychic to find out his target for that day, who's going to preach. Then, basically, the Brahma can understand, can read Buddha mind, so he will do some arrangement for Shakyamuni. This is according to the Nikaya. So this is how from Sutra we know that the first jhana being how to interact with us. Okay, basically this is how they interact with us. So once you do the chanting in Mahayana, sometimes we heard about that, oh, maybe the Bodhisattva come, you feel the smell, good smell, all this. Mostly is a sensual realm Deva. 好緊要犀利咗佢哋好似我對面嗰個係咪？佢跳嘅係叫做佢跳嗰個神is about 玉皇大帝 the level. So once he came, all the ghosts they will get frightened already because they are very powerful. You see, so this is they call it what Suddenly I forgot the name already. So this is how we interact with the sensual realm Deva also. Okay, anyway, in Abhidhamma, they won't talk about this. This is the extra, I talk about that. You see, in order to attain to there, you have to attain to the high, you must have a high attainment in the development of the concentration samadhi. Basically, in Buddhism, especially in Mahayana, we have some we have a misunderstanding to this type of meditation. Sometimes it seems that in our Mahayana command, they will label the ones who frequently do the meditation like a small vehicle. Actually, there's a misunderstanding. Basically, the small vehicle they try to mention is the Sarvastivada. Because the Sarvastivada school, they used to do the academic study in the later stage. So they just keep themselves in the monastery and do all the very detailed academic study that I show you the Abhidhamma. See, so they ignore the suffering of the people and they ignore the need outside there. You see, so that's why finally Buddhism will will be extinct. Maybe partial due to of this reason. But sometimes this is how people misunderstood. They thought people who meditate well, they are the small vehicle. Actually, no. They are mentioned as a Sarvastivada. Whereas those who can meditate well and do the Vipassana, actually, they are the real Bodhisattva. So the Heart Sutra actually is the product of the meditation, especially the Vipassana. Because always mention the emptiness, and the emptiness is based on the 5 aggregate. So I have to let you know, because in our Mahayana tradition, the meditation skills sometimes we lost already. Because we don't really the meditation skills in China. In China, there's 4 times we call it as extinction, annihilation of Buddhism. So for emperor, they try their best, try to wipe out whole triple gem in the China. So maybe this is the reason why some meditation skill lose out already during that moment. So finally end up what we know we still can carry on is the Zen, the mantra chanting, and the Dharmanim chanting. So as I said, if possible, go to learn the meditation. This is not small vehicle, but once you achieve the meditation, and then all the mantra chanting and also the Buddha name, they become easy already. Okay, next, let's take a look. Here we call it a frequent displaying. The consciousness, meaning to say frequent to displaying, meaning to say that, you see, a five material sphere consciousness, if you are the Deva in the five material sphere, basically always, this consciousness will always arise. And for you and I, we also can arise because we are the worldling. Okay, but basically, if let's say we are experiencing the first five material sphere consciousness, it will appear as a first thought in the very beginning. Let's take a look to the diagram. Okay, we will go to this diagram number chapter 4, absorption jhana process, page 169. Okay, you can just take a look here also. Page 169. 169. Okay, let's take a look. See, so this is the absorption. You see, maybe for you you are not familiar, but let me just show you. This is the initial attainment of the jhana. JH is the jhana. Okay, the JH is the jhana. So what is this? A VAMPRACCN. Okay, so let's take a look. Maybe what I want you to know, just this. All of this is the we call it as it's a sense field consciousness. Okay, it's a sense field consciousness, and the first moment you attain to the five material jhana consciousness, it will begin with the one moment, one consciousness. After one consciousness, then your jhana will go on. Then you go back to the bhavanga. Bhavanga is the resultant, our resultant. So meaning to say, you are able to experience first moment, but from the first moment you will continue, try to maintain to second moment, third moment, and then 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 1 hour. But no matter how hard you try to sustain, finally your jhana will go on. Then once your jhana gone, you will go back to the sensual consciousness. Why? Because this is our vipaka. This is our resultant. Once we try to train ourselves, we are able to reach the five material sphere. We begin with the first jhana. And this is common that you can say so. Some people, they claim that they are able to see the Deva in the first jhana. Why? Because your frequency are same with that. So some people, they're able to see, they're able to see them. And some even at the sensual realm, the Deva, they're able to see. The reason is because the frequency is even higher than them already. Because the moments when you attain to the first jhana, according to the sutra, you will be totally absorbed in your nimitta. You will become a light. Your mind totally become the light. And the quality is equivalent to that. So meaning to say that the first moment you attain, actually, this is it is something, it's very big thing already. Sometimes if there is some Deva who is following you as a protective God, they'll be very happy and they will rejoice once somebody are able to attain to the first jhana, even though a single thought. But later on, you keep on, you will try to prolong it as much as possible. As I know, basically, Nian Fua, chanting Buddha name and the mantra, since the sawa is there, so we are unable to attain to the first jhana because the nimitta cannot be refined anymore. So if you begin like Chuntat, you do the the mantra chanting very well, the most you attain is the Upachara Samadhi. Once you attain to the Upachara Samadhi, you have to shift your method to Anapanasati or Kasina or this. Then you can go into the first jhana. Even though our Qigong here, the Fangkong emptying the mind, the most is the Upachara Samadhi. But we still need different method because especially for mantra, is very powerful, especially for healing, but not Anapanasati. We use the mantra power to heal ourselves and maybe to bless the water and heal somebody. So different method, they have their different advantage. It is good for you to learn all, then you can use, depends on the different circumstances. Okay, get it? So Chuntat, know that. So remember, next time you have to further your jhana. You have to shift other method. Once you go to the end stage already, for your mantra chanting. The reason is because they still got sound, or you can still hear the sound. Okay, so this is the initial attainment of the jhana according to this diagram. Okay, then we go back here. You see or not now? You see 5 material sphere consciousness. You see 15 chitta fall into this category. 5 wholesome, 5 resulted, and 5 functional. Table 1.5. Can you go to the table 1.5? Okay, table 1.5. So table 1.5 is page 55. Okay. This is, you see, this is the table 1.5. Can you, yeah, we just go through me here. Okay, let's take a look now. So this is the 15 totally. They will be experienced by the worldling like you and I, and the trainee. Trainee meaning to say is the Sotapan, Sadagami, and Anagami. Exclude Arahan. So remember, trainee are 4, we call it as a 4 Arahan. Exclude the 4th stage 1. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, they are the trainee. So the trainee will still experience the consciousness. If they do the meditation, they will still experience the 5 material sphere consciousness, and they will be vipaka. They will be vipaka, meaning to say in your next life, you will be reborn once you keep on accumulate this karma. Okay, but anyway, why we still have to do this? So this is the, once if it is a good question if you raise it up. The reason is we use jhana as a tool, but not our final destination. So once we attain the jhana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th until the 5th jhana, basically we will shift to vipassana. And if you know the skill of vipassana, you will spend most of the time in vipassana rather than in the jhana, because the jhana realm is not our final destination. But of course, I remember I had the advice by Seado. He encouraged me to go to the jhana stage if I am able to reborn there. He said, if you reborn there, you can attain the jhana easily and do the vipassana, because without the obstacle of this body. You know what? I put you all in downstairs because if I put you attain the class upstairs, you are sitting, your knee start suffer already. Then another dinner, 1.5 hours, then I think you all die already. So I arrange you to sit here in this way, then you change a knee down there, you don't feel suffer, you see. So that's why we have to do our class in the downstairs. See, you're not gone. Of course, this is the reason why Buddha, also prefer give preaching also in the we call it as essential realm, especially his mother become the Dewa in the 33 heaven there. So because the people there can also sit continuously for 3 months without asking to go to the toilet. Not like here, you want to go to the toilet already after 15 minutes, there no need, so continue. So no matter 地藏经 or what, all the story coming is Buddha go to the Dewa realm and give the preaching. And then same, if you reborn to the jhana, it is good for you to do the vipassana and further your meditation. But the disadvantage is, due to lack of suffering, due to the scarcity of the suffering, you could be, you will be indulged in the joy of the jhana and don't want to do the vipassana. It's possible. So yes, the same. If somebody will give us $3 million, I think tomorrow you all disappear. We start traveling the whole world. Of course, what for come to study abhidhamma, you better travel the whole world first. This is the norm. The people prefer to enjoy. But as a human, we have suffering. Sometimes you see, Sally got your own problem. I also have my problem. They also have their problem. This type of problem, they will create the crisis for you. I should work hard. But in day one, no, they don't have this type of a problem. They're just always in the enjoy stage. Okay, let's see. Yes, yeah, yeah. 终结 CJ, yeah, you can off it. Okay, yeah, got it. Okay, no problem now. Okay, let's continue, have a look. Then you see we've got the 5 functional Kriya Chitta, that is experienced by Arahant and the Shakyamuni. Because Arahant Shakyamuni, they have to meditate also at the same time, in certain time. Okay, let's continue. The commentator. Yes, can Tiong Kit, okay, read the passage.
Wait.
Okay. Hey, today both of you have to keep on read the passage in the routine because they are face to face. If they read, you all cannot hear one, but you read, they can hear. So today they are taking advantage. You will read until you die. Okay, please continue. Okay. Yes.
The commentators derive the Pali word jhana from a root meaning to contemplate, and again from another root meaning to burn up. Thus, the jhanas are so called because they closely contemplate the object and because they burn up the adverse states of opposed to the concentration. The adverse states are the 5 hindrances: nirvana of sensual desire, ill will, sloth, and torpor, restlessness, and worry and doubt. The jhanas are attained by the method of meditation called the development of calm or serenity. This type of meditation involves the strengthening of the faculty of concentration. By fixing the mind upon a single selected object, all mental distraction is eliminated. The hindrances are suppressed and the mind becomes fully absorbed in its object. The development of calm will be dealt with in details later. The object of the jhana's consciousness is a mental image called the counterpart sign. This sign is considered a conceptual object, but it generally arises on the basis of a visible form, and hence these jhanas pertain to the 5 material sphere. The meditators aspiring to jhana may select as the original object of the concentration of a contemplative device called a kasina, such as a colored disc on which attention is fixed. When the concentration matures, this physical device will give rise to a visualized replica of itself called the learning sign. And this in turn gives rise to the counterpart sign apprehended as the object of jhana.
Okay, thank you so much. 永杰，你会讲中文吗？你懂中文吗，长姐？
会啊，我比较熟悉中文啊。
哎呀，这边你跑来这里英文班、中文班又不上，哎，有没有搞错啊？哎呀，he is more familiar with Chinese than come to English class 啊！哎呀。 So we go back to the definition in the first place, why we call it as a jhana. So in the Pali term, jhana means what? Number one is to contemplate, second is to burn up. Usually we call it as a burn up. The meaning is because it will burn down all the five hindrances. Basically, what is the five hindrances? Actually, we can experience five hindrances now. May I know who is thinking the food in the dinner now? No, because you're not hungry. Okay, if you're hungry, you start to think, the food there. Okay, well, this we call it as a sensual desire. This is number one, sensual desire. But if let's say you sit down here, your leg feel uncomfortable already. So that is the ill will. A sloth and torpor, if let's say you don't sleep well yesterday, so we call it a sloth and torpor, then there will be restlessness. If let's say you feel, I mean, it's very common for you. If you think, I mean, you might keep on wondering, and worry and the doubt, okay, Sally, you worry like a fan, if you start worry, we call it worry and doubt. So you see, meaning to say, the five hindrances are not necessarily happen during meditation. In the daily life, also can happen. But you will notice, if you do meditation well, it will also make your life simple. All the five hindrances will gone, no matter how. You wouldn't worry much. So that's why the reason we do the meditation, and also we study the sutra also, because it will help us to reduce the effect of the five hindrances in the daily life. Basically, this is our vipaka, our resultant, to experience that. It's something to do with the brain, because the brain certain part, we call it as the network system, a default mood network. That default mood network in the brain keep on functioning as a wandering mind. Let's take a look. This is we call it as a default mood network. Because sometimes nowadays people prefer asking the more modern way to explain. So this is the default mood network, which causes the brain keep on wandering mind, and this wandering mind this activity will consume most of the energy from the body. Okay, I think 80 to 90% consumed by this part of the brain, this activity. And if let's say you're able to just cool down this part, basically meditation are able to suppress all this effectively. If you suppress this effectively, the way you experience by your brain will be different already. Actually, the world we know is the world our brain knowing, which is known by our brain. So meaning to say, if your brain structures change already, like all this dot, default mood network all gone, it doesn't work anymore. So your whole mind will be revealed. So some call it this mind as a jhana, some call it as a truth, but in Buddhism we call it as a samadhi only. Okay, you get it or not? So in Chinese, the meditation, the Zen, there's one phrase, it's very famous, they say, once you're able to calm down this mind, the mind which is keep on thinking, then the true nature will be, will be unveiled. That's the meaning here. Will be disclosed, you see. So meaning to say, once you're able to, if you're able to attain to that stage, the different world will appear in front of you. Especially this part of the brain has something to do with the time and the space. This part will be suppressed. That's why once you attain jhana, you feel the time pass so soon. Because this certain part play roles for us to know the time. So I'm quite curious, how come Einstein didn't know that the time is illusion? Because he didn't meditate. So how can he know? Just only the people, once you meditate, then you experience the space without time and the space to the jhana. Then once you come out, then you know that, actually I experienced something quite different. Once I'm in the jhana, no time and no space. Time passed by very quick. But how come Einstein didn't know? So I'm quite surprised. They're able to know all this, you see. So those surprised, if let's say you feel the time pass so soon, and you feel, the space disappeared, including yourself disappeared. Why? Because the feeling of ourselves is the function of the brain, you see. Once the brain keep on wandering, you know that, I'm here, you see. Because your mind is working. But all this type of have been stopped functioning, then that is the true self, actually is the samadhi. But people will get frightened. I mean, if very big, if they're experienced in the very beginning stage, so no need to worry. No people die because of meditation. No people scared until die because they can't find themselves. So far, it never happened before. I hope it will happen to you. Don't break the record for Erti Vihara. Okay, then you see, here we talk about once you try to develop the karma. Sorry, the one more definition is to contemplate. So in Mandarin, why Xuan Zhuang Da Si, translate contemplate 静虑, I understand why already. I thought Xuan Zhuang had used the wrong word. Actually, no. Bali term contemplate. Contemplate is people will sometimes you will think contemplate, maybe try to think something, right? Actually, no. The contemplate means to say you try to fix your mind in an object. That is the contemplate. The real definition for the contemplate. This is not the English in the Oxford Dictionary, right? Contemplate. You fix something in your mind. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oxford Dictionary. Or interpret this way, contemplate meaning to say fix your mind in one object. Oh, okay. So meaning to say English is more accurate than Chinese. Maybe classical Chinese is different already. So they use a different word. Okay, there's one more thing here. The concept appear again is about the sign. Once you try to meditate, okay, we experienced with the color this before. Okay, if you're able to visualize the color this, we call it as we call it as this. The kasina. No, not the kasina. In the very beginning, we call it as here. Yeah, the counterpart side. Okay, in the very beginning, we call it as the counterpart side. So this is if you open your mind, close your eye, you're able to contemplate this. We call it as a counterpart side. Actually, it begins with the learning side, 取向, then we become the counterpart side. See, we experienced this before. Okay, then if once you're able to contemplate this side, this color in your brain, meaning to say you can do this method, or maybe you have to train yourself in the very beginning stage. Some people can visualize the color easily. This color later on will turn out become transparent and will become very bright. We call it as a counterpart side. In the very beginning, we call it as a learning side. Let me check first. So in the very beginning, yes, you see a visualized replica of itself. When you close your eye, the side appear exactly same. When you open your eye, seeing by your eye, we call it as a learning side. Later on, it will be transformed, become counterpart side. Then from the counterpart side, you use it to go to the jhana. Okay, class, remember a few things. Let me let you know. Number one, if you are always in the Mahayana environment of meditation by learning the Zen, mantra chanting, and also the Nianfo, you will never know about this. Because in our Abhidhamma and the Sutra in Mahayana, this type of concept is not common in our sutra. It's not available. It is available in Sarvastivada Abhidhamma, but Sarvastivada Abhidhamma is not common in Chinese Buddhism circle. Okay. Anyway, it is a common sense in Theravada. No, basically Thailand forest monk, they will totally deny all this. Okay, so make sure if let's say you all the sign appeared, preferably you don't go to follow the forest monk because you're confused. They will deny whatever you develop. Okay, so you have to follow. So this side is very welcome by Dhyama Buddhism, especially the forest, the meditation one who strictly follow the Visuddhimagga. Okay, why they deny? Because for the Thailand Buddhism, actually in Theravada, the whole circle, they are fighting for the originality. The more origin you are, the more the more trustable you are. Actually, this is also partial of the marketing strategy. So some they're fighting for the originality of the sutra, some fight for the Pali language. But for us, we don't bother all this. As long as we know the content, it suits the Dharma, they will be fine already. As long as the meditation skills can suppress your fine races, that will be the good method already. You get what I mean? Because in Theravada's environment, they always are fighting for all this tough stuff, you know. Finally, increase more ill will some more. Okay, so you remember, if you follow what the meditation from a type forest, you don't mention all this. Okay, you just want to learn the things only, then just keep quiet, basically. So that is the issue between them. If a Sri Lanka monk, half, because in Sri Lanka, they open themselves, let other tradition to come in. So some, they will agree with this type of the sign appear in the mind, some they will disagree. So make sure if you follow, the Visuddhimagga, please try to learn, go until to the end. Follow, learn the whole thing, and then once you notice that you cannot break through anymore, you go to the bottleneck, then change the method. Don't, or you will be always confused by the teacher. Right, not you're confused by the teacher. One say yes, one say no, don't know who to follow. So no matter how, you study the Abhidhamma-Sutra first. Then everything based on the Sutra, based on the Abhidhamma, then you will be, you will be more, you have more faith. You can stick to one tradition. So if you just follow what did the teacher say, sometimes it's very confusing for you. Okay, but anyway, if let's say no matter how hard you meditate, the sign or they don't appear, so no need to disappoint, because a lot of school they don't emphasize this type of nimitta, like the forest monk in Thailand, and most of the meditation skill in Mahayana, they don't include the nimitta. So many school you can learn. So this is the most open. If you open mind like this, everywhere is a teacher. You can find teacher everywhere. If you just limit, this is the only way only. Here, if you cannot attain the nimitta, then sure you die already. Am I right? So be open mind. As long as the method can suppress your 5 hindrances, that is the good method already. Okay. All right, then next, let's take a look. So we go to the 5 material sphere, wholesome consciousness. Okay. And then, yes, so whose turn? Chun Tat, right? Can you please read the passage?
Okay. 5 material sphere, wholesome consciousness. This category comprises 5 chittas, distinguished by way of the 5 jhana, and each jhana constituting a distinct type of chitta. The jhanas are enumerated in the order given for 2 reasons. One, because when one meditates for the attainment of jhana, one achieves them in this order. And 2, because the Buddha taught them in this order. First jhana, wholesome consciousness. Each jhana is defined by way of a selection of mental concomitants, called its jhana factors, jhananga. From among the many mental factors contained in each jhana consciousness, it is this that distinguishes the specific jhana from the other jhana and brings about the process of absorption. The first jhana contains 5 factors, as enumerated in the text. To attain the first jhana, these 5 factors must all be present in a balanced way, closely contemplating the object and burning out the 5 hindrances that can obstruct absorptions. Initial applications. Vitakka. In the suttas, the word vitakka is often used in the loose sense of thoughts, but in the Abhidhamma, it is used in a precise technical sense to mean the mental factor that mounts or direct the mind onto the object. Just as a king favorite might conduct a villager to the palace, even so, vitakka directs the mind onto the object. In the practice for attaining jhana, vitakka has the specific task of inhibiting the hindrance of sloth and torpor. Sustained application, vichara. The word vichara usually means examination, but here it signifies the sustained application of the mind on the object, whereas vitakka is the directing concomitants towards the object. Vichara The commentaries offer various similes to highlight the difference between these two jhana factors. Vitakka is like a bird spreading out its wing to fly. Vichara is like the birds gliding through the air with outstretched wings. Vitakka is like a beast diving towards a flower. Vichara is like the beast buzzing above the flowers. Vitakka is like the hand that holds a tarnished metal dish. Vichara is like the hand that wipes the dish. Vichara in the jhana serve to temporarily inhibit the hindrance of doubt. Zest.
Junta, you can off your camera, huh?
Derived from the word, yeah. The term is often translated as rapture, rendering
Okay, Junta, your Wi-Fi is weak today. Yeah, don't get, please continue to read.
Okay, zest
which fits its role as a jhana factor each one.
Okay, then why Junta, you stop? Okay, yeah. Don't get, please continue. Zest.
Okay. Zest, piti, derived from the word pinayati, meaning to refresh, may be explained as delight or pleasurable interest in the object. The term is often translated as rapture, a rendering which fits its role as jhana factor but may not be wide enough to cover all its nuances. The commentators distinguish 5 grades of piti that arise when developing concentration: minor zest, momentary zest, showering zest, uplifting zest, and pervading zest. Minor zest is able to rise the hairs on the body. Momentary zest is like flashes of lightning. Showering zest breaks over the body again and again like waves on the seashore. Uplifting zest can cause body to levitate, and pervading zest pervades the whole body as an inundation feels as a cavern. The latter is identified as the piti present in jhana. As a factor of jhana, piti inhibits the hindrance of ill will, happiness. This sukha, this jhana factor is pleasant mental feeling. It is identical with somanasa, joy, and not with the sukha of pleasant bodily feeling that accompanies wholesome resultant body consciousness. This sukha, also rendered as bliss, is born of detachment from sensual pleasures. It is therefore explained as nirami sasukha, unworldly or spiritual happiness. It counters the hindrance of restlessness and worry. Though piti and sukha are closely connected, they are distinguished in that piti is a cognitive factor belonging to the aggregate of mental formations, while sukha is a feeling belonging to the aggregate of feeling. Piti is compared to the delights of a weary traveler would experience when coming across an oasis, sukha to his pleasure after bathing and drinking. One-pointedness, ikagata. The Pali term means literally a one-pointed state. This mental factor is the primary component in all 5 jhanas and the essence of concentration, samadhi. One-pointedness temporarily inhibits sensual desire, a necessary condition for any meditative attainment. Ekagata exercises the function of closely contemplating the object, the salient characteristic of jhana, but it cannot perform this function alone. It requires the joint action of the other 4 jhanas factors, each performing its own special function. Vitaka, applying the associated states on the object. Vichara, sustaining them there. Piti, bringing delights in the object. And Sukha, experiencing happiness in the jhana.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, class, let's take a look. So this is the example of the 5 jhana and anga factor. This is the explanation. For example, this is the flower. Let's take a look. So the bee come here. So we call it as a vitakka. So he's using is the application. Application. Once the bee come to the flower, it will continue. Just examine the flower. We call it as a sustained application. We call it as a vichara. So once your heart, you direct your mind to the breath. So that is the vitakka. Then you continue knowing the breath in, out. You see, this is the breath. Okay, you pay attention to the breath. So we call it as a vitakka. So the breath go in, out. So this is your nose. This is a touching point. The breath go in, out, in, out. If you just continue to examine it mindfully, we call it as a sustained we call it as a vichala, sustained application. Once it can continue to 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the piti arise. Piti mean what? The joy, the refresh. Okay. Once there's the piti, basically the sukha also will come. How do we know the piti and sukha? So there's a very good example, like it's a very tired people who walk through the desert. Because he's very thirsty, once he see the oasis, so that he will arise the joy, that we call it as a piti. But once you really drink the water, we call it as a sukha. So sukha actually is the advanced level of the piti. So once you enjoy the sukha, basically your ill will be subsided by the sukha. But piti actually is very strong also. Let's take a look. We check one by one. Let's take a look. You see here. Piti is very simple. It's just to refresh. We have 5 grades of the piti. So number 1, minor zest. Raise the hair on the body. Okay, if you're able to meditate well, let's check one by one. See which one you experienced before. Number 1, minor zest. Raise the hair on the body or the jaw until you feel the hair of the body raise up. If you feel yes, please tick. Okay, if no, you just do pangka. Second is the momentary zest, like the flashes of the lighting. So once you meditate very well, the joy will appear like a flash of the light. It come again and come again. Okay, if you experience that, please tick. Okay. So the third one is the showering zest. It's just like the wave on the sea of the shore. You see, the zest breaks over the body again and again. Actually everyone is strong, but this one, you just like a wave, just come to your body, go down and then come again. So why you feel that? I read through some science report. It's because due to the oxygen had been fully absorbed by the body. Because during that moment, your abdominal breathing starts already. So once there's abdominal breathing, you got too hot. So too hot, keep on pumping the oxygen to the body. So you can feel the zest showering your whole body. Then, okay, if you feel that, please tick here, showering zest. No matter, even though maybe 5 seconds you experience, it is very good really. Yes. No sound. Can you hear me now? Okay, yeah, let me continue. Okay. Now let's take a look. So then later on, the showering zest. Then the next one is the uplifting zest. You feel the body to levitate. Okay, if you experience that, just take. The last one is the pervading zest. Pervading zest is like what you see. It's just like the whole body is an inundation feel of the cavern. 好似嗰啲好多個窿係咪？嗰啲水走去咁樣。So the joy we just keep on feel the whole throughout your whole body. That is we call it as a pervading zest. If you experience just take okay. Then try to check. Some people they can experience 5 of them, but some people maybe just try 1 or 2. Okay, and maybe somebody is none. Okay. So basically, at least you try 1, you want to go back again. because this type, no matter which one, the zest, they are all they are stronger than the joy through our faculty lah. Okay, no matter how good the food we experience, the joy, or maybe how beautiful the thing we see, all cannot fight against with this. This is the best. So I mean, this type of joy, no matter which one you experience, if you can feel that, basically, if you go to deep enough, the ripple will continue after the meditation. The ripple joy will continue. So that's why basically the ripple joy is very helpful to make you feel free from the 5 hindrances in the daily life. Okay, so the deeper jhana, the deeper zest you feel, I mean, the stronger the ripple is. Sometimes the ripple will just continue maybe the whole day, maybe 2 days. But basically, because it's a ripple, not that long. But if you really focus the mind very well, no matter you do the chanting of the mantra or whatever, actually, even though the mantra chanting or nian for also can experience 5 of them. It just depends on how deep it can go in it. Then after that, you will experience the ripple. So if basically if the people who experience that, the group sitting is not that necessary already, because this type of the zest is a good motivation for you to keep on to meditate. So if Mr. Leong, you enjoy absorb this, so you tell Mr. Leong, hey, today you cook yourself, I want to meditate, so enjoy, then you sweep all the floor, open the canned food, it will happen in this way, you know. So that's why meditation sometimes yeah, it can happen this way. Then you ask, I cook great food, never mind, we pay some, we meditate, then after eating the food continue. It can happen this way. So sometimes this is why the bodhisattva will blame the meditator if it happen in this way. Because if you experience that, preferably you stay in the jungle or in the cave, because you don't want people disturb you, you see. If you stay in the apartment, so you just lock down your door, don't call me, you will just off the phone, because your world is very beautiful already. You know, you don't need anything anymore, including your cheesecake, Sally. It doesn't need it anymore. Or Elena doesn't need it anymore. Okay, it can happen this way. But even though you experience the food, you don't feel the joy. The joy will be different already. If you experience the five type of the zest. Okay, but anyway, if you are just recently married, and then you want to have kids, don't go too deep, because this one will make your desire gone. Then you cannot produce your offspring. Then you will blame your meditation master. Actually, we should talk it frankly. So this one really will make you detached from anything, including your career. So we discourage you to over meditate until you don't want to teach. No. Okay. And basically, if you the deeper you go, you start to keep silence. You prefer silence. You don't want to talk anymore. But like you are a salesperson, right? How can you survive without talking, right? So even though you meditate, you cannot too hard working. You know that, go to a certain stage, you have to stop already. So this is exclusive for those who can full-time meditate. But the problem those full-time meditators sometimes cannot attain this. This is a dilemma. Those part-time they can attain, but they don't have the condition to continue or experience that. So this is the life. Okay, so this is how we experience all this. Then we go to the happy, to sukha. Sukha is a pleasant mental feeling. It will counter the hindrances of the restlessness. This is very important. Basically, where's the restlessness gone? You bring up just how we call it, default mood network is respond very it play roles for the restlessness, and it make you feel that the existing of yourself, the wrong self, that is the illusion. This one play an important role. As I know, if I'm not mistaken, basically the habit of the sensual, the habit for those who live in the sensual realm is the restlessness and the craving. These two is the habit for all the human who reborn as a human here. either they're strong in the craving or is in the restlessness. This is our feature. And then here you see, he said piti actually is the Sankara Kanda, and Sukha is the Vedana Kanda, aggregate of feeling and aggregate of the mental formation. So this, for those who learn the Dharma quite long, like Mr. Leong and Chun Tak, so you just try to understand, because usually for the beginner, they are confused for all this. So if you're confused, just ignore it, because so many facts are for you to remember. Okay, the next is the one-pointedness. So you see here, okay, piti, just like the people who see the water, but the sukha is the pleasure after bathing and drinking. That's the reason why once people experience the sukha, meaning to say the fourth jhana, in China Buddhism, some people thought they are the arahant. They will misinterpret. The reason is, you see, if you go to the stage of the sukha even stronger than the piti. Then if let's say you're able to go into the sukha, maybe half day, it can happen that the whole week, all your defilement gone. But without learning the abhidhamma, so systematic, and we tell you we have a very clear definition for the jhana and vipassana. But in China Buddhism, they don't have. So you will mistake. You thought, oh, maybe I'm arahant. Because whole week, my defilement gone already. I always in the joy. I feel from all the defilement. You will mistakenly deem that you are in the jhana. But you become arahant. So after you starting abhidhamma, even though you don't meditate without the guidance of a teacher, at least you won't misinterpret your attainment. Okay, so that's why sometimes the theory is still very important. Okay, lastly is the one-pointedness, because this is the essence of the concentration. This will inhibit the sensual desire. This we call it as ekakata, one-pointedness. But remember, this one-pointedness actually, it is available in our daily life. In the daily life, because for example, nowadays they got so many scamming. The scammer, they are able to have a plot, and you can get trapped, and they will direct the whole thing. So just calling from the HDN, then they pass the phone to the police officer. The police officers pass to the judge. They can plan the whole thing. There must be ekakata. If you don't have the one-pointedness, how can you play the thing so well? So actually, the one-pointedness is, it is available. Even though you can teach the whole lesson, there's ekakata there. But the feeling of ekakata, which is so close to the meditation, is, for example, you do the study and during your working. If you're very fully absorbed in study, sometimes some people they study until forget the time, or maybe suddenly you try before, right? Once you try to do your paperwork, you will forget the time. You forget you're hungry when you're very busy. So at that stage, we also call it as a ekakata, including some pianist. The pianists, they play the piano and they say, I forget myself already. And sometimes they will go to the certain space. That also is the ekakata. But no matter how, this type of the ekakata, it cannot go very deep compared with the meditation skill. Okay, then I think preferably I stop here. Okay, 5 more minutes for the question. Any question? Yes. Yes.
Regarding the table 1.5.
Okay, table 1.5. Wait. Okay. Wait. Table 1.5, right? Is this table right? This one. Okay. Yeah, last 3 column. Yes, please. Any question? Yes. Yes, they are the mental factor. We'll let you know. Wait. 65, 55, 60, 65. Yes. Yeah. It says a mental factor. Yes. Okay. We'll explain all the number in second chapter. Wait, 55, 60. Yeah, possible. Yes. In the next chapter. Okay. Mr. Lam, you prefer the numbers so much. Oh, you want to know the meaning, Okay, no worry. In the next chapter, We got so many details for you to dig inside. All the numbering is explainable. Okay. Then what else? Question? So Mr. Long, you just highlight here. So you refer, okay, in second chapter, I mean before the ending, we tell you all this, how to calculate the number. So during the Vipassana, they're able to find out all this type of number. They are we call it a mental concomitant. Okay, if you have no question anymore, we stop here our class. Okay, so we stop here. In the next lesson, we'll continue with the second jhana, wholesome consciousness. It will be very easy already because we drop the jhana, the mental factor, one by one. We just drop one by one. Once we finish, we'll go to the immaterial sphere. Basically, in Abhidhamma, including the method to attain to the immaterial sphere, everything is very clear. I mean, we tell you the method very clearly, even though you can use the method to go into the immaterial sphere. This is, I mean, the value of from the Abhidhamma. Everything is very clear for you. You won't feel any ambiguity for the whole process of the meditation. Okay, we start our class here.